Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you to everyone who hung in there in the live audience. We're getting a really late start today. Actually, latest we've had in a while. 6:32. It's 6:32 in the a.m. Had some kinks to work out here on the technical end of things. We did the postcast last night, and I had to restart the show. I'd done the last two postcasts before last night from my brother-in-law's carport just outside Baltimore, Maryland. Little family party down there, including a crab feast. I didn't want to take off. Come on, crab. Right. What am I going to say no to crabs? What am I, a barbarian? Come on. Anyway, so I had to get the studio set up, and then there was another issue this morning and all that fun stuff. So I apologize for the extra dealer time, as it's been referred to on the Farzy Show. But either way, welcome in. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Brandon Marsh saved the season yesterday. That's the storyline I feel like we have been waiting for during this 6-game losing streak since really the last 3 weeks of the season, since the Oakland A's series, where they dropped 2 or 3 after sweeping the Dodgers. We've been waiting for that one miraculous moment, and I believe that one miraculous moment was delivered by Brandon Marsh. They are right now, if I do the math correctly, 1-0 since making that catch. Now build on it, baby. Build on it. It was incredible. I mean, anyone who's played baseball at any level, you've lost a ball in the sun. If you've played football and you're a receiver at any point, you lost a ball in the sun. And then at the last second, you get lucky sometimes and it just hits your mitt. That's exactly what happened to Brandon Marsh. I love the Angels in the outfield references. I love the Smalls references. All of it perfectly describes Brandon Marsh catching that ball. And what was so incredible, other than the fact that he made the catch, but it was like I was at a low point before that catch because you had seen, I think it was Robles making one really circus catch. The other, he did a great job running in on a ball, but Robles just threw his mitt up to rob, I think it was JT Realmuto of a base hit, maybe even a double, probably a double. Throws his mitt up. He's running to the warning track. He's running to the wall. He turns around, can't find the baseball, and just throws his mitt out in the top of the 7th inning, I believe it was. And he just throws his mitt out, and he makes the catch. And you're like, all right, that was the luckiest catch I've ever seen. Phillies can't catch a break. It's only 1-0. There's no way the Phillies are going to win a game if they can't get that kind of break going for them. Phillies aren't going to win this game because of what they tried to do in the 4th inning with the double steal. And now Robles making catches like that. And then he makes another one right after. The Phillies can't win. This is terrible. And then Brandon Marsh makes that catch in the bottom of the 7th inning. And you think he has righted the universe. Finally, the Phillies caught a break. I even tweeted that out at the moment. The Phillies actually just caught a break? What? Something actually just went their way? What? And sure enough, top of the 8th inning, very next half inning, the Phillies went out there and posted a 5-run 8th inning. So since that Brandon Marsh catch, they're outscoring their opponent 5-0. It was very much what we had been waiting for. Now, it's just, of course, time will tell if it actually comes true. But in this very moment, it feels like the Brandon Marsh miraculous catch will turn the tides of the season. That's what I'm going to cross my fingers for. Phillies now start a 3-game series with the Dodgers. We'll talk about the game more in depth. We'll get into training camp. Some guys getting some great shout-outs from the head coach yesterday. Nick Sirianni addressing the media, speaking at length about, first off, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson making that shot, the shot that went viral to get the Phillies out of a team, go through all the teams. Get the Eagles out of a team meeting in the auditorium. He hit that shot. Well, Nick Sirianni also revealed that they have a PlayStation in the auditorium. I mean, I've been in the auditorium. I've seen the basketball hoop. I have not seen a PlayStation. Maybe they put that away, so I don't know. Reuben Frank doesn't play it. I don't know. I don't think Reuben Frank's ever played a video game. But anyway, okay. Nick Sirianni says there's a lot of team building that goes on in that room. Even when there's no meetings, players gravitate to that room. They'll shoot around. Apparently, they'll play PlayStation. They'll build that camaraderie, and that's what that auditorium's used for throughout the season, and of course, also now throughout training camp. So he tells the story of how he challenged Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to make that shot, and if he makes that shot, there's no team meeting. And Chauncey Gardner hit the shot, and the place went bananas. I'm sure you've seen the viral video by now. Nick Sirianni gives us his story, his side of the story. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson gives us his side of the story about how apparently Nick was betting against him, and he didn't like that. In the moment, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson compares himself to a LeBron James, because of course he did. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson also said how he doesn't care what you think about him, which is fine. I don't care what he thinks of me either. Not that I think I'm on his radar, but whatever. And he also talked about the defense and the attitude that he brings to this defense. In particular, the attitude that he brings is one that Howie Roseman coveted, which is why he decided to bring him back. He also talked about how he didn't want to talk about the past, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He also talked about how he didn't want to talk about James Bradbury. Like, he was asked about James Bradbury at the safety position. He's like, I'm not talking about that. Fair enough. I think he knows that whatever he says is going to get broken down. But even in that, he didn't want to say like, oh yeah, James doing a great job. James is a hard worker. No, he didn't want to say, they didn't even go down that path. But a lot of good things from Chauncey yesterday. And Devontae Smith, we'll get into some of the stuff Devontae Smith talked about as it pertains to Quinyon Mitchell, the Eagles' rookie corner, who does not shy away from talking that jive. And I am here for every syllable of it. As far as on the field in particular, Devontae Smith continues to really turn heads at camp. They had some pads on yesterday. Jalen Hurts continues to just have a masterful performance at camp. Nick Sirianni alluded to stats being taken during training camp and how Jalen Hurts has just been on the money throughout the camp sessions that they've had so far. He was throwing out shout-outs to Will Shipley yesterday. Said that he reminded him of a lot of Danny Woodhead, which was a name I had not thought about in a very, very long time. So loved hearing about that. Love hearing about this defense coming along. There was some criticism coming out of the open training camp session, open practice, if you will, at Lincoln Financial Field, with the offense just having their way with the defense. And Nick Sirianni basically said it was our turn. It was the offense's turn. And that's going to go back and forth throughout training camp, and that's how it goes. It's the ebbs and flows of training camp. And I remember how much some of these players take this seriously. I remember talking to Alshon Jeffrey years ago after one training camp session, and I just asked him the general question of how the first day go. Whatever. And he goes, "Oh, we kicked the defense's ass today." I was like, "Damn, son! Wow, all right, you kicked the defense's ass today." All right, it's practice, right? And they're like, I don't care. We're keeping score, man. We always keep score. So the attitude and confidence, swagger, that doesn't go away. That doesn't just go on for 17 times a year. That goes on every single day from day one until cleaning out your lockers. And what it sounded like, a lot of the Eagles offensive players were confident, but feeling pretty good about that open practice and how they had their way with the defense. But according to their head coach, he said a very political thing. It was just our turn. The defense is going to come back and they're going to get us. Well, apparently the defense has not been coming back and getting them. When it comes to the struggles, something else Chauncey Gardner-Johnson also talked about in his press conference was, Vic Fangio runs a defense that everybody else, that a lot of other teams have run. It has withstood the test of time. So when it comes to what could happen in the near future with this defense really figuring it out and being on the same page, it's going to happen. And he said on the field, what are the things that makes this Vic Fangio defense so special and why people should have confidence that one open practice isn't going to tell the story of an entire season is because Vic Fangio's scheme works. And he says one of the things he loves about it is that everybody has a chance to make a play. And as a defender, you got to want the ball. You got to be aggressive. And Vic Fangio's defense allows everybody to be a playmaker. In particular, everybody is involved. Everybody has that opportunity to go out there and change the tides of the game. And that's what the Vic Fangio defense does with the communication and with the versatility that it brings. The versatility, as long as it's something outside the lines of heavy blitzing, 8 men in the box, whatever the case might be. A lot of quarters, as we know. But listening to a safety talk about it, he's talking kind of what I expected and predicted when he was signed by the Eagles. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and any other player that has played under the Vic Fangio defense, if they're asked one word about it, the word they usually give is freedom. You have a lot of freedom in the defense. Once you understand what the defense is, once you understand what the defense is trying to do, as a defensive player, you can play within the reins. You can play within the lines of what are set by Vic Fangio. And once you understand that, there's a lot you can do. And a lot of that comes down to the communication. So if you're communicating, if you're understanding what your role is on the defense, you can use that freedom. And the thing I've been saying about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is that he seems to really understand what that freedom is. In the Cliff Notes version of the Vic Fangio defense under Jonathan Gannon, we all know that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson excelled with that freedom. Now he's coming in here for his second year as an Eagle, does not want to talk about the past, and only wants to focus on the future. And he talked about how he wants to give his winning attitude to this Vic Fangio defense, and that's why it's going to have a lot of success. So I look forward to actually seeing it play out. But as of right now, it certainly seems like one of the leaders on the defense, certainly one of the loudest mouths on the defense, saying that as a compliment, is quite confident in his defensive coordinator's abilities to make sure that he's putting a winning defense and winning scheme on the field. So we'll get into that conversation. Also, some Olympic stuff we'll get into. Feels like a lot of people are having a good time over there, including the world's fastest man. What a race it was yesterday. We'll get into that conversation a little bit later as well. But let's start it off with your Philadelphia Phillies. I have to talk about this. The Phillies, we haven't gotten what the Phillies, like what the doctor ordered for the Phillies in a long time. And it feels like months, I know, but it hasn't been. It's been since before the All-Star break with that A's series. You had the Dodgers series, and oh my God, I didn't expect them to sweep the Dodgers. They go out there, they sweep the Dodgers. And then we all know since then, hell in a handbag. And we've been waiting for that perfect moment for the Phillies to get something on it. Kyle Schwarber had the leadoff home run, start things off course yesterday. So you're feeling really good. All right, good. All right. But I wasn't going up to that high state because the Phillies had just blown a 5-run lead the night before. And of all people, Jeff Hoffman was the one that blew it. So getting one run in the first inning didn't put me at the spot that I wanted it to put me at, simply because they had blown a 5-0 lead the previous night. It should be a 5-run lead. A 5-0 lead the previous night. So the game's going on, and Zach Wheeler just continues to deal. Zach Wheeler looked fantastic yesterday. And one of the things I really loved about what he was doing was, you talk about mixing your pitches. He did that beautifully yesterday, keeping guys off balance. Was using his splitter yesterday. Using his sweeper yesterday. His fastball was pinpoint precision throughout the game. When it was all said and done, 8 innings, scoreless, 8 scoreless innings tossed, 2 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. If you needed to dial up a fantastic start, a gem of a start by an all-star, by an ace who was coming off a pretty rough outing before, you got exactly that from Zach Wheeler. He was dominant on the hill. Defense was there certainly to back him up. But where everything changed in the game yesterday, I know this was on the postcast. I do 3 big things every postcast to start it off. 3 big things, and I usually don't rank them in order of importance, but yesterday I did. I'll give them to you right now. Going 3-1. Least important to most important. Granted, they're all pretty important. They're top 3 in the game yesterday. 1, I started off with the controversy already that I couldn't split. I couldn't pick between Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper. They couldn't pick between those two. Sophie's choice. You know what I'm saying? Kyle Schwarber led it off with the home run. He had 3 hits in the ballgame. Bryce Harper had a double in Saturday night's loss after a 12-pitch at bat. He won it with a double. They weren't able to bring him home. It looked like at that moment that at least he was getting his swing back. And I had been waiting for that moment. You guys have heard me talking about it, where Bryce Harper, people are saying, oh, it looks like he's coming out of it. I don't see it. I didn't see it. Saturday, I saw it a little bit. All right, double. He hit the ball real hard. That's good. And then yesterday's game, 3 hits, a 2-run home run, and he looked like a guy that was absolutely dialed in yesterday. And the results were there. And yeah, he barreled the ball up, and it actually found some grass in the outfield. And then one of them, of course, found the stands as well. But yesterday was the perfect example of a guy looking like he is absolutely breaking out of this slump. Saturday, it certainly looked, okay, oh, maybe it is right around the corner, breaking out of the slump. Then Sunday, he goes out there, and what does he do? Gets 3 hits and a home run. So choosing between Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper, very difficult for 3. So I'm going to go 3 and 3A, Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper. And for the record, I do not believe the double steal was on. I think JT Realmuto was on his own on that one. But anyway, they won the game, so I'm not going to focus on that one horrible play. Even though it was terrible, it was ugly, it was no good, it was ugly. Anyway, so then number 2 on my list, extremely controversial. Number 2, 8 scoreless from Zach Wheeler gets him to the second most important thing in yesterday's game. I told you what was so he mixed his pitches extremely well. The 9 strikeouts was amazing. He was exactly what you wanted from a starter, from your ace. And number 1 is Brandon Marsh. From an actual standpoint, let's live in this world for a second where we're in the 7th inning. Polanco's ball goes to deep center field at the warning track. Brandon Marsh is there to make the catch. He can't find it. I don't know where it is. So let's live in this parallel universe for a second, okay? Let's live in this alternate universe for a second. Brandon Marsh can't find the ball. His glove is out. It misses his mitt. Probably hits off the bottom of the wall. If that hits off the bottom of the wall, 2 things could happen. Well, 1, Polanco's definitely on second base. 2, Polanco's maybe on third base, depending on where that ball, and it could have very well hit off the bottom of the wall and ricocheted back in towards the infield. Not in the infield, but towards the infield, leading Brandon Marsh or Nick Castellanos to make the hustle play after the baseball and throw it in, with Polanco being awarded a leadoff triple. So you have a runner on third base throughout that inning. Now, as that rest of that inning played out in the 7th, Raley went up there and he laid down a bunt. I don't know if he would have done that with a runner on third. Maybe he would. I don't know. And then Haniger goes up there and ends up striking out. But if you have a runner on third base, it changes the dynamics of the game, and the dynamics of how you're going to play that defensively and how you're going to go up there with an approach as a hitter. So you could have a leadoff triple in a 1-0 game at that point if Brandon Marsh doesn't make that catch. Whole outcome of the game is different then. The whole, especially in that inning, everything could be different if Brandon Marsh doesn't make the catch. That's what could have happened. But what did happen is Brandon Marsh somehow miraculously made that catch. And I even love the idea that after Nick Castellanos, you can see it in the thumbnail, Nick Castellanos came over to him and Brandon Marsh just, I didn't even know where the ball was. I just threw my mitt on it. It hit the mitt. I caught it. I don't even know how that happened. Nick Castellanos, I don't know what he said. It was probably something like, that was awesome, man. And turns his back, throws the ball in. Brandon Marsh looks up and just like, hey, thanks for that one. That's what it looked like to me. It was awesome. And after that, the Phillies come up in the top of the 8th inning. Bryson Stott leads it off with a home run. He was down in the count. How great is this for a Bryson Stott at bat? He goes down in the count 0-2, takes a 7-pitch at bat, wins it, hitting a 3-2 fastball, 404 feet to right field for a 2-0 Phillies victory. Hayes flies out to left. Schwarber lines out to right. Trey Turner steps up, works a walk after a slider slipped away from Garcia just over the head of Trey Turner. He takes first. He got 2 outs, runner on first. Bryce Harper steps up to the plate. He gets a hanging sweeper. He belts that to right field for a 2-run homer. Goes from a 2-0 game to a 4-0 game. Then Alec Boehm steps up. He hits a home run. First pitch slider, 380 feet to left center field. Marsh steps up, gets a single. JT Realmuto steps up there, gets an RBI single. It's a 6-0 ball game. Five runs after that Brandon Marsh catch. Home run in the next at bat for the Phillies after the Brandon Marsh catch. Brandon Marsh came up in that inning, in the bottom of the 8th inning, and got a single to center field. Then good things continue to happen for the Phils. They close it out for the victory. Jose Ruiz goes in there, pitches the final inning. another thing that made that game so special is that you needed 6 pitchers in the previous night in a 10-inning affair. You go to extra innings in a bullpen game. Oh, that is terrible. And you got 8 innings from Zach Wheeler yesterday. Clutch. And the offense poured it on in the 8th inning to make sure that they locked up this victory and snapped that skid. It was a very, I think that had, like, we were waiting for that moment where something broke for the Phillies, where they caught a break. And that's exactly what happened in the game yesterday. It has all the makings for the changing of the tides for the season. And, let's not forget, August 4th yesterday, August 5th today. Let's not forget, the Braves lost. The Mets lost. The Dodgers won. They beat the A's 3-2. They won by a run. Whatever it was. Rooker, by the way, hit his 28th home run. He plays for the A's still, not the Phillies. But anyway, not the point. Dodgers won. So Phillies get back on track, heading into LA for a 3-game series with the Dodgers. And we'll talk about that more coming up with in our morning rush with Aaron Nola getting the start against Glasgow later on this evening. I believe right now until, 1 a.m. tomorrow morning when I'll be on doing the postcast. Yeah, expect some bags. Expect some luggage under the eyes tomorrow, even more so than are usually there. But I expect tonight at 1 a.m. to be talking about a Phillies victory. 2 in a row. Then win 1 tomorrow. And that's what's called a winning streak. It has happened before. That's what I'm predicting. And I'm going to look at that Brandon Marsh catch as what really turns the tides of the Phillies season. One more thing worth noting about yesterday's game. Nick Castellanos had the longest at-bat of the 2024 MLB season. Nick Castellanos in the second inning stepped up with 2 outs. He went down in the count 0-2. Well, first off, for everyone, just for the record, he swung and missed at the first pitch. So he did swing at the first pitch. He goes down in the count 0-2. He then fouls off 9 balls in total in the at-bat. 6 after he ran the count full. Worked it to a 15-pitch at-bat, hit the ball on the screws, but right at third, and recorded the final out of the inning. Nick Castellanos, of all people. What do you think the odds were for Nick Castellanos going into the season to have the longest at-bat of the year? Like, I'll put it like this. Okay, Ben Simmons to hit a 3 was like always plus 1,600. Nick Castellanos to have like the longest at bat of a season. What do you think that was? Like plus 100,000? But it's just like, no, just not going to happen. He had a 15-pitch at bat yesterday after starting 0-2. Okay. Okay. Oh, and the Bryson Stott home run. I mentioned earlier, talking about Bryce Harper and not looking like a guy who was about to bust out of the streak slump until Saturday. Bryson Stott had been hitting really well. He was hitting like 300 going into this series over the last week. He was hitting like 315 over the last 2 weeks, something like that, going into this series. Well, he hit a couple of bumps in the road in this series. And then Saturday, I noticed he was just under a couple pitches. Just really, like, the swing looked good, but he was just missing. I'm like, it could be time to see another home run from Bryson Stott. Like, he looked like he was just missing some of these, and then he cranked one out of the park in the 8th inning to start things off the right center field. So that was a guy that I definitely saw breaking out of it, if you will. But Harper, not so much before Saturday. And then he did. And then yesterday, even more so with 3 hits. So pretty awesome stuff from them yesterday. Like I said, back at it tonight, 10-10 start time. All 3 games. Tonight, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, all 3 games, 10-10 start times. Good times. All right, let's talk about your Philadelphia Eagles. Also, some Saquon Barkley news about how confident he is in his abilities for the upcoming season. But let's talk about the viral sensation that was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson hitting a shot in the NovaCare Complex's auditorium to get the Eagles out of a team meeting. First off, love seeing this stuff. Like, I always, whenever teams really go downhill, they always seem like teams like the Phillies as of late, gripping the bat a little too tight, a little too much pressure on themselves. How Bryce Harper even talked about how his son, Crew, was telling him he needs to get it together. Love that. But when they're gripping the bat too tight or they're playing tight, as we have seen from the Eagles, whatever, last year's last year, but they just didn't look like a team that was having any fun whatsoever. You want to see that a team is having fun, especially when they should be having fun. In training camp, everyone's just getting back together. You're going out there, you're playing the game you love, and now you're shooting free throws and threes, if you will, playing video games in the NovaCare Complex Auditorium. You want to see these guys having a good time together. You want to see that camaraderie building now. So Nick Sirianni said he walked into the auditorium, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was missing shots. Other guys were making them, but Chauncey was cold. The guys were playing video games together. He's walking into a setting of guys having a great time. They're about to have this meeting. And he calls on one player, thinking this player is going to miss. And he says, well, I'll let Nick Sirianni tell the story. Here's the story behind the CJGJ CD Deuces shot.
Chauncey hadn't made a shot. He wasn't even close. So we really needed our meeting, and they were having a good time. I'm like, you know what? Let's put something on this. Hey, meetings are, the team meeting's canceled if Chauncey makes this, and he drilled it. So I don't know if he hustled me. He might have been hustling me. But he hit the shot. Guys went crazy. You can't simulate. And we made up the meeting the next day, right? They got a little bit of a break there, but we made up everything we needed to make up the next day. But you can't simulate those things, and those things are those are the building of the team. Like, it's all those little things, right? All that little thing, the time they spend together in the meeting beforehand, the communication they have at practice. All those little things add up to build a football team.
It just talks about how that all comes together for camaraderie and all that stuff. But when you hear him talking about, I think he hustled me. He might have hustled me, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. A lot's been made of Nick Sirianni and what is it that he does with the Eagles as the head coach? Like, as the head coach, what is the job description now for him? That he's not calling plays anymore. He's not game planning anymore. All this is stuff that he had done for the Eagles in the past, and quite frankly, was stuff he was hired to do, and this is now stuff that he has taken a step back from. Not only is he taking a step back from it, but the Eagles have brought in guys with more experience as far as play calling and game planning is gone, both on offense and defense. And all we hear about Nick Sirianni now is, he floats around from meeting to meeting, and he goes in, and sometimes rookies sit up a little bit when the head coach comes in here, and they give him that respect. Or sometimes Nick Sirianni will say, hey, I like the way you did this in the meeting, but how about we do it like this? Or whatever. Just think about this. Maybe you do it like this. And he gives his 2 cents. Okay, fine. So he's, as I've joked, the regional manager, assistant to the regional manager. He's the guidance counselor of the Philadelphia Eagles. So what is it that Nick Sirianni really does? Well, let's just break this down. The one thing that Jalen Hurts did say in the infamous quote from now 7 weeks ago, what is it that Nick Sirianni, what does it say about Nick Sirianni's adaptability, bringing in these new coordinators? What does it say? And Jalen Hurts is like, I can't say anything nice. And then finally he's pushed on it. Oh, no, say seriously, say something nice about Nick Sirianni. And he's like, his message, he's got a good message. So if you're really looking for what Nick Sirianni does, because he doesn't just sit there and play darts at the NovaCare Complex, like he is work, he's doing something. What I believe, and this is on a positive note, I don't say this in jest. I say this seriously. If I'm asked the question, hey, say something nice about Nick Sirianni, I think the guy really does have a great feel for his locker room. You can put however much worth on that. I think he's got a great feel for it. Whether that's him taking the bullets in a press conference, blaming himself, and then later a guy like A.J. Brown saying, no, Nick took that on the chin for us, man. That was our fault. The Seattle game, of course, I'm referencing. I think he's got a great feel for his locker room. Motivating the locker room, I think, could be tough at times, but I think he at least knows when there's a moment they need to be motivated a little. I also think that he's got a great feel for a moment in training camp to say, okay, I'm walking into this scene. These guys having a great time. Even if we don't have this meeting now, we can make up for it tomorrow. So either way, we're still going to have the meeting. We're just not going to have it right now. How can we bring these guys together maybe a minute faster? let's have a moment we could celebrate. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, you go grab that basketball. You go shoot your shot. You make it. We don't have the meeting. It's a win-win situation. Chauncey misses it. Everyone's sitting up in the seat sitting on the edge of their chair, watching that shot. And if it doesn't go in, you have your meeting and you have that moment. It does go in. You don't have the meeting, and you have this incredible moment of the players celebrating and getting to leave and do their thing. But then you have the meeting tomorrow. So it's a win-win situation. So from Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's side of the story, he was asked point blank if he was hustling Nick. If he knew, if he could feel, if he could sense the moment that he was going to get his team out of the meeting.
The team meeting.
Say it again?
Were you hustling Nick with the shot?
To be honest, I was minding my business when he challenged me. To be honest with you, if I'm going to tell you the truth.
He said you weren't making any, and all of a sudden you stepped up and he banged.
That's like we give an analogy, right? That's like LeBron going cold first 3 quarters, and then LeBron thought the game-winning shot. That's how I felt.
It's like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Hey, you made a shot in the NovaCare Complex's auditorium. Yeah, I'm like LeBron James. Like, wow, right away. Piping hot take. He went on to say that if there was an analogy to be made here for the defense, if they're a basketball team, he's like, I'm the point guard and I'm getting 30. He goes right to the top shelf with his self-compliments. And I love that. That's one of the things I love about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So that's how the Eagles got out of that meeting. That's the backstory on it. I love every second of it. Good decision by Nick Sirianni to do that. Certainly one hell of a job. Hey, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, you know who makes that shot? A winner makes that shot. His attitude was on full display yesterday at camp. And here he is talking about the attitude that he brings to the table that in all honesty, that Howie Roseman intentionally went out and brought back to the Eagles.
About doing that.
I'm a winner. I think y'all okay, let's understand this. Everybody understand I'm a winner. Regardless of what you can pull up stat-wise or rating-wise, I'm always on the winning side of football. I don't think, regardless of an NFC championship or playoff game or division championship game, if you look at the course of my career, I'm going to bring the winning attitude. I think, and my teammates, they understand that. I don't settle for less. If we can't win, then what we're here for.
Has anybody said to you that?
That's not the swag. Is that not the swagger you want in the secondary? One of the things I missed terribly last year, and I was with most people, and even after Chauncey Gardner-Johnson called us a bunch of effers, whatever, I was like, I don't care. And it turns out he and I have the same vibe. I'm like, I need that guy on the defense. Like, who was going to be that guy on the defense for you last year? Like, let's just live in this world for a second here. Eagles are going through their struggles in the second half of the season. All right, at the end of the year, they're going through their struggles. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, let's just live in an imaginary world where he's in that secondary. First off, I would love to hear what he had to say about it all as it was going on. And second, I don't know if it happens. And I know the Eagles had phenomenal leadership last year in Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey, of course, and Lane Johnson still very much a leader on this team, and Jalen Hurts is stepping up this year as a leader, but still a pretty damn good leader. And it still happened. So it's hard to think that even maybe with one more personality, even that of the power of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, that kind of fall wouldn't have happened. But I'll tell you this much. I certainly feel like you would have a lot more confidence in what that secondary could do if you had the talent, the swagger, and the confidence. Because I don't think I ever see Chauncey Gardner-Johnson down in the dumps. I don't think I've ever looked his direction on the football field, and even watching him last year with the Lions, you never see a moment where he's got his head down, woe was me mentality. I would have loved to see Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at least play in the playoffs last year against Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the Eagles and see what would have happened with James Bradbury missing those tackles and what Chauncey Gardner-Johnson would have done. Because let's not forget, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the second half of the Super Bowl was the only guy running around making plays for this defense. I remember watching and being like, does anybody else want to play? Like, this is nothing is going the Eagles' way, but Chauncey Gardner-Johnson doesn't give a damn. He's going to make the play. He believes he's the one that's going to make the play to turn the tides of a game. Pacheco running out of the backfield. He's the only one coming up making hits. I'll never forget it. Every defensive player, not necessarily, be a playmaker and get the ball and force a turnover, but no, just make the play and believe you're the guy that when your numbers call, when your opportunity knocks, you're the one answering. And that's the mentality that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson has individually, and I think the confidence that he gives any defense he plays on. Like, if it's not my turn, it's going to be your turn to make the play. But know that my turn's coming, and I'm going to capitalize on the opportunity, whether that's getting the team out of a meeting in training camp or that is a ball that is just maybe a half a foot overthrown I'm going to go up and get in the secondary. It still amazes me that he missed, 5 weeks in his 1 year with the Eagles, and he still had more interceptions. He was still tied for the lead in interceptions with 6 of them that year. That's remarkable. So talk about talent, that's the talent. But talk about bringing swagger back to the defense, something they're desperately in need of. Oh, they got that. They got that. So I love his attitude about that and what he brings to the table here as far as that mentality goes. It did also get brought up about his overall attitude. And the question in particular, just to give it proper context, wasn't about like, hey, dude, what's your why this attitude? The question was, what does it say about the Eagles to just like, do you feel with the Eagles, they just let you be you? Is that one of the reasons you wanted to return here? And here's how he answered.
Excuse my language, but no filter. I don't care how y'all feel. I don't care how you feel. I don't care how you feel. I don't care how you feel. I'm here to win, hold my teammates accountable, hold myself accountable. Like, I get dawned on for saying little things, and I mean, if y'all wasn't hating at me, I ain't doing my job. So I'm glad that I got a lot of hate and a lot of critics. That makes sense.
The first off, they literally called a whole city a bunch of effers. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna get some attention. So scoozy, all right. But everything else, I love every ounce of that. There might be some people that are like, oh, what about the fan? What about the kids? What about this, that? Like, no, you want him to win. That's the only thing you really, truly care about. If he goes out there and wins. And I believe with his talent and his personality, he's a guy that's really going to help this team win. And I don't know any Eagles fan that was like, no matter what, don't bring back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. 2 years ago or this year, don't bring him back. Good. They kicked him to the curb. See ya, CJGJ. I don't know anyone that was like, oh, damn it, they brought him back. No, I don't know anyone like that because they know the guy has that winning mentality, has that winning attitude. Oh, and also he's a really good safety. Oh, you know what's also pretty funny about it? He was not a safety in the NFL. He was a nickel corner before the Eagles brought him in 2 years ago. So I'm with him. I'm hanging on every word from Chauncey Gardner-Johnson when it comes to what he has to say about playing the game of football, what he has to say about being a leader on this defense. And it's not even like I think he puts himself at the front of the line to be a leader. This is just my mentality. This is how I am. If you want to fall in behind, fall in behind. But I think when you have charisma like that, when you got swagger like that, and you got talent like that, people are going to fall in line behind you. I forget who it was recently. They were talking about leaders. It was Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio, if you're not playing well, no one's going to follow you. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson plays pretty well, and he also speaks his mind, and I think a lot of guys want to follow that. So I loved hearing that from him. One more thing from yesterday that I also loved is Quentin Mitchell keeps on getting talked about as far as a trash talker. He might have to find some new material. Devontae Smith, a couple of things from his press conference yesterday I want to get into. Always raising the bar when it comes to A.J. Brown and himself as wide receivers for this Eagles team. Just keep on getting better, keep on getting better. He was asked about why A.J. Brown singled him out after or before the open practice, about how he just seems faster than he ever has. Devontae Smith, according to A.J. Brown, just seems faster than Devontae Smith has ever looked to A.J. Brown. The attitude of always improving, always getting the football and always making sure that he is doing his job. Even if the ball didn't find him, he did his job to get open. Same mentality you want him to have. But he also talked about Quentin Mitchell. And Quentin Mitchell has certainly gotten the early distinction of being a bit of a trash talker. Yesterday, I didn't realize this, but yesterday was the first time that Quentin Mitchell lined up against Devontae Smith. As fate would have it, they lined up. Here's how it went.
So today was the first day I actually went against him. And, you know, I got open, I caught the ball, and he told me my route was trash. So I'm like, I like it, though. I like it. He's a great guy. I like what I'm seeing. I like to see him, you know, he's moving around a lot, playing inside, going outside. So the versatility is there, but, you know, it's fun playing against him.
That's exactly what he said to A.J. Brown in minicamp. That route was trash. Dude, if the guy caught the ball, okay. So Devontae Smith caught the ball, and Quentin Mitchell kept talking that trash, kept talking that jive. Oh, I love it. I still love it. I still have that confidence, man. Have that swagger. You be that guy. And look, there's no bad blood here. Devontae Smith's laughing about it, and he caught the ball. A.J. Brown's laughing about it, and he wants more of it. How do you not love that? The only thing, though, that really matters in all that is if you're really waiting for Quentin Mitchell to have that moment of making a play on the field as opposed to going out there and just talking that jive, well, Devontae caught the ball. AJ caught the ball. He was out of bounds, though. Remember Quentin Mitchell talking about that last week? But, you know, AJ caught the ball. Yeah, but he was out of bounds. So he really didn't catch it. This team is going to be so talented this year. The cherry on top of a very talented football team winning a lot of games is that you see them having a good time while they're doing it. This season could be so special for the Eagles. And one of the things that is, I think, from an X's and O's standpoint, the biggest difference is utilizing the guys out of the backfield. I still think that you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts. Obviously, they're going to catch the headlines and all that stuff. And I think your offensive line, despite being banged up, and Mekhi Becton, you know, really helping his case on that offensive line with Landon Dickerson going through some injuries, with Tyler Steen going through some injuries, of course, as well. That offensive line, I think we all have a lot of confidence in Jeff Stoutland. He'll just have that next guy that's going to be up, the next man up. That next man up will be ready for his opportunity. That's kind of the confidence that we have built up in Jeff Stoutland over the years. But in terms of the thing that will be really special is how they'll be utilizing their running backs. And yes, Saquon Barkley is the lead, the big name there, the big acquisition in the offseason, not just as a running back, but as a weapon. And putting the ball in his hands as a playmaker at the line of scrimmage will work wonders for this defense, both to cut down turnovers and to cut, just keep on gaining yards and moving the ball down the field and not forcing things deep. And to have Jalen just take what the defense is giving him. Oh, the defense is going to give you Saquon Barkley at the line of scrimmage? I like your odds if you put the ball in Saquon Barkley's hands. But one of the things that could really be special about this is what Saquon Barkley highlighted yesterday, which was the potential to unlock. David Murphy wrote a piece on Inquirer.com about Saquon Barkley and how Saquon Barkley is excited for this Eagles offensive line after playing through a revolving door of offensive linemen in New York over the last couple of seasons. This is what Saquon Barkley told David Murphy yesterday. That's the reason I wanted to come here. The offensive line. History shows that they've been really good, and I feel like it's going to help me show my true potential. No disrespect to anybody else in the past, but that's the reason why I wanted to come here. Look, we all jumped to it. Saquon Barkley behind this offensive line. It's going to be special. But if Saquon Barkley is going into this season with the confidence of unlocking his true potential behind the most talented offensive line he's ever played behind, then look for the guy to be making a point this season. And it's not just, instead of Jalen throwing the ball down the field or Jalen scrambling. He's putting the hands of Saquon Barkley. He's putting the ball in the hands of Saquon Barkley. It's just everything that means. The security of it, the talent, the speed, how he can make a play by making guys miss, running over guys. He's a smart enough player to get out of bounds. Like, it just unlocks so many other doors. And I do hate anytime the comparison is made or the statement is made. They didn't run the ball a lot, but they ran a lot of screens or they had a lot of throws to the line of scrimmage. It's like an extension of the running game. Fine. But it's not running the football. Like, one is one thing, one is clearly the other. But in terms of making the defense have to defend a very versatile offense and making defenders get them sucked into the line of scrimmage a little bit more, if that's helping things out, then you're talking about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith open deep down the field. Safety's going to be thinking twice with Saquon Barkley in the backfield. Lining up under center, like not even putting the ball in Saquon Barkley's hands, but just the threat of Saquon Barkley in the backfield. I mean, you talk about it a lot when it comes to the play action, those linebackers freezing. Think about that half a step that's going to be opened up for even Dallas Goedert if he's going across the middle. Just the mental game of it. We all know what he can do with the ball in his hands, but if you're a defensive coordinator, like, put yourself in these shoes for a second. Saquon Barkley's talking about unlocking his true potential behind this offensive line. Put yourself in a defensive coordinator's shoes for a second. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown on the outside. Okay. Is Dallas Goedert healthy? Oh, he's healthy. Oh, damn it. Saquon Barkley in the back. Oh, come on. And Kellen Moore, who's just going to keep running things up. That's not fun. That's not fun. If you're that defensive coordinator, it's fun for us. And I think it will be a lot of fun this season. Is it time for Brazil yet? Oh, you know what? I got to reach out to? I got to reach out to our buddy Gabriel down in Brazil. I need the goods on what Eagles fans need to know about going to Brazil. I've never been to Brazil. Closest I've been is Peru. That is not Brazil. I am watching that show on the History Channel alone. Season 3 was in Patagonia, which is like Chile. It was pretty. It was really beautiful. I wasn't there, but it was on TV and it was cool. But yeah, not Brazil. Anyway. Yeah. A lot more to come from training camp. Looking forward to it. Hey, let me tell you about the great people at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Download the MyBookie app to your phone. Create an account. Use promo code Farzi. Get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. You want to bet on the world of baseball? Go right ahead. Want to bet on the games across the seas? Go right ahead with MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Download the app. Create an account. Use promo code Farzi and get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. How about the Game Time app? Phillies, be a while before they're back home. It's going to be a while. When they do come back home, you get a ticket to the game on the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzi, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Last minute ticket deals, flash ticket deals. They even have ticket deals for an hour after the event starts. So let's say you're going on the Game Time app to go to a concert or a comedy show or an event. You might miss the opening act, you might miss the middle, but an hour after the event starts, you're going to get mega huge savings and still see that headliner that you love so much on the Game Time app. You can also view your seat before you buy it, so you take the guesswork out of buying tickets with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzi, get $20 off your first purchase, and don't forget about the Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less money elsewhere, Game Time will credit your account 110% of the difference, all on the Game Time app. Before I get to the, hold on, PHL Sports Nation. Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Before I get into the chat check, world's fastest man, Noah Lyles, wins the 100-meter race. He won it by a torso. Absolutely incredible to see that finish yesterday. He's out of Alexandria, Virginia. Born in Florida, raised in Alexandria, Virginia. Came in yesterday with an incredible time in the Olympics and won gold in the 100-meter dash. Noah Lyles. If you haven't seen it, literally a photo finish. He just edged out Jamaica, I think it was. Yeah, just edged out Jamaica. What part of Jamaica? Right by the beach, boy. I actually referenced Half Baked to someone the other day, and they had no idea what I was talking about because they were born in 2001. Yeah. Not my best moment. Let's get into the chat check. See how you guys are doing. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. April leading it off for us. What's going on, April? That Marsh catch was hilarious. Quite hilarious. James Alexander III, what's going on? Good morning. Finally, we're out of the slump. Hells yeah. IBH, what's going on? Jason, hello. Jason, I needed that shutout last night. Like our life depended on it. Sean Gillespie, what's going on? Sean Kilrain, hello. Excited for the first preseason game. Yeah. Good Lord, was it Thursday? Holy Stromboli. What is today even? Friday. Friday is the first preseason game. Yeah, jeez, that happened fast. It always happens fast. At Ravens, at Patriots, and then host the Vikings. Good Lord. CJGJ, the attitude we need. Absolutely, Jason A. Marsh catch was incredible. Really thought he was going to drop it, and you wouldn't be able to blame him. We'd find a way. April, Friday, and Saturday games with the Phillies were awful. They were. Terrible. Cassie's at bat. Ridiculous. Hells yeah. Sean Gillespie, Chiriani really scaring you? Why? Why is Chiriani scaring you right now? The vibe should be good. The vibe should be great right now. I need a good in-game decisions and answers for the team's success. More importantly, losses. Yeah, if you're talking about the Eagles, that's exactly how I feel, and that's why I really like. That's why I really like the new coordinators. Last season, really, the end of the year last year just really was such a buzzkill for so many different reasons. Because, like, if the Eagles go into, let's say the Eagles just play like 500 football at the end of the season. Let's say they get the number 1 seed, but they lose the conference championship to, let's just say, the 49ers. That is so much easier to understand. I'm not saying stomach. It's not easier to stomach, but it's so much easier to understand than 10-1 to not even winning the division. Like that's one is gut-wrenching. Oh man, I can't believe they lost in the NFC Championship game. The Niners, the Niners are a good team, and I can see how a team loses any game, whatever. But like to collapse the way they did at the end of last year, it leaves you so puzzled and dumbfounded that it really puts everything on the hot seat going into the next season. Like when you think about it going into last year, they win the game in Buffalo in overtime. They improved to 10-1. 3 straight losses, San Francisco, Dallas, Seattle. They beat the Giants at home, barely. And then they lose to Arizona and New York. The Giants are the last game of the season. So they go from 10-1 to 11-6. That 1-5 end of the season makes you question everything. Because that is so confusing. How did this happen? Whereas if you just lose whether you lose in the NFC Championship game, we're like, oh, well, yeah, teams lose in the NFC Championship game. And we would be breaking down one game, which is so much easier to wrap your head around as opposed to a complete and epic collapse from December 3rd to including the playoffs, January 15th. So like a month and a half of like, what is this team doing? I don't get it. April, that reminds me of the half-baked scene. F you. Yeah, now it's in your head. Now you won't be able to get it out. CJGJ, I hope that dog mentality rubs off on everyone, especially the defense. Gatekeeper Coley, what's up? That's the goal. That is the goal, that it rubs off on the entire defense. Marsh, after the catch, had that same look on his face that a child has when getting the, I don't know, game station he wants for Christmas, or Reese Hoskins catching a throw from second. Reese Hoskins catching strays, Greg. As the kids say. I truly wish Kelsey would have come back this season, especially with Saquon here. Yeah, can I say something? I need to say something here. Can we stop with the clickbait stuff of Jason Kelsey making a return to the Eagles? You'll see it. If you're scrolling Facebook, Twitter, some stupid story will come up from some uncredited website that's like, Jason Kelsey considering a return. No, the guy is not. He's lost, what, 30 pounds, 40 pounds? Yeah, that ain't playing weight. And he ain't putting that on in a couple weeks just to play one more year. He done, man. He's got a beret on in Monday Night Football. He's going to Paris with the missus. He ain't coming to play for the Eagles. So please, and it happens every once in a while where generally an older family member will shoot me a text in all caps, and it'll be like, is Jason Kelsey coming back? I'm like, no, Jason Kelsey's not coming back. They'll send me a link to a story. I'm like, this is clickbait. Please stop. Charles Dead, good morning from Tampa. Good morning from Philadelphia area. 100-meter race is crazy. April, that just made me so sad. These damn fetuses don't know good movies. We're all going through it now, you know. I gotta remember that movies I loved as a kid are like 25 years ago, and I can't reference it to other kids now. Sean, April, you and Farzi have the same brain. Yeah, Temple education. Nice, April. There's that TU brain. Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome as per usual. Let's get the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars. SkyMotorcars.com. Phillies back at it tonight against the Dodgers. 10-10 start time. Aaron Nola gets the start for the Phillies. He'll go against Tyler Glasnow. Nola coming off a start against the New York Yankees. 5 2/3. It was that 12-inning game that the Phillies lost 7-6. He went 5 2/3, allowing 2 runs on 7 hits in that game. Nola, earlier in the season, back in that sweep of the Dodgers, went 6 innings, allowing 1 run on 4 hits. That 1 run was courtesy of a home run. He needed 101 pitches to get through that win over the Dodgers. And it was his 11th win of the season, also his last win of the season. So going for win number 12. Can I get 12? As for Tyler Glasnow, he's coming to this one 8-6 in the season with a 3.50 ERA. In his last start, he allowed 3 runs against the San Diego Padres. It was a losing effort. The Dodgers have actually dropped both of his last 2 starts. Went 7 innings against the Padres, allowing 3 runs over 7 innings. Previous to that, 5 innings against the Giants. He allowed 2 runs in total in that start against the Giants. He did not face the Phillies in that 3-game series. So the Phillies look to get 2 in a row against the Dodgers starting tonight. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow morning at 1 a.m. for the Locked On Sports Philadelphia postcast. Don't miss me there. And also, back with the Farzy Show tomorrow morning. On time. We'll be on time tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to Jacob Media YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel as well. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. See you in the wee small hours of the morning for postcasts, and then Farzy Show after that at 6 a.m. tomorrow. See ya. Bye.